ngendawo ngendawo niphulaphuleni kuzo sibulise ke nababukeli abasibukele live ku Facebook igama lami ndingulubaba lwamajenge ndilapha ke kwakunye nosodolophu walapha eWalter Sisulu uCouncillor Vania Davis silapha ke namhlanje emphulaphule ukuphathela inkqubo ekhethekileyo ethi ithetha nosodolophu wakho sikuphathele yona ke le nkqubo ngokukhethekileyo ukuzama ukuzisa usodolophu phambi kwakho so that nawe ukwazi ke ukuzithethela naye ngayo yonke imiba engqonge umasipala wesithili kunye nophuhliso lwakho njengomntu walapha eWalter Sisulu Local Municipality uyasibamba ke phaa ku Facebook page singu WSLM /Walter Sisulu Local Municipality kulapho ke usibamba khona ukanti sibulise nakwemphulaphula ekhaya osiphulaphule live kwiTakalani Community Radio vuya uthabe usekhaya sizakuba nalo ke ixesha apho sawuthi sithathe khona imibuzo yakho i-comments zakho kwakunye ngendlela zonke mphulaphuli wena oziva ufuna ukubuza imibuzo ngayo ungasifonela kwi-studio line yethu engu-065 995 6498 i-studio line yethu ngu-065 995 6498 ukanti ke uyakwazi ukusibhalela kuWhatsApp uyakwazi kwakhona nokusenzela i-voice note kwakwesi studio line C1 imizuzu ingamashumi amabini anesithandathu emva kwentsimbi yesihlanu siza kuba kunye ke ukubheka phambili phaya siyonqandwa lexesha apho ke inkosi ithi mayiphele khona kulapho sizawuphela khona singaphosanga maseko masigawuliswe rhuqa sodolophu masikubulise sikwamkele enkqubeni.
Enkosi, Mr. Majenge, let me take this opportunity to greet the residents of Walter Sisulu Local Municipality, the listeners of Takalani Local Radio Station, and also to our Facebook followers. Ek groet julle almal vanmiddag. Hoop ons almal gaan saamgesels en saam vra. Thank you very much, Mr. Majenge.
Enkosi kakhulu sodolophu phambi koba siye masiyicacise nento ethi bekufanele ukubana sinayo i-unique community radio nayo njengenxalenye lenkqubo mphulaphula ekhaya kodwa ke asikwazanga ngenxa ye-technicalities abajongene nazo estation esizama ukuzilungisa sodolophu masiqale ngokubuza umbuzo othi le yikota yokuqala yonyaka mali ka-2022-2023 nanjengoko ke nilibhunga nilindeleke into kokubana nimilisele izicwangciso zophuhliso lukamasipala lweminyaka emihlanu kokuqala ke nifikile ebhungeni apho nikwaziyo ukubana nimilisele esisicwangciso ngokupheleleyo nanjengoko nifike nagqibezela esibhunga elipheleleyo ungakusixelela into kokubana le nkqubo ihamba njani?
Yet again, Enkosi, Mr. Majenge, I think it's safe to say that we've adopted the IDP for 2022 till 2027. And subsequent to the development, we also approved the service delivery budget, which would be like a yardstick. Apho kuzawudeterminishwa okanye kuzawumeasurishwa i-performance yethu as umasipala ne-leadership yalapha. And izawufuneka into yokuba every time faneke siphindele okanye sibuyele kwabahlali sibacacisa into yokuba sihambe kangakanani so dat is steë as daar vergaderings moet geroep word net om die mense te laat weet hoe ver het die munisipaliteit gekom en wat hulle gesê het op hulle se budget. Thank you, Mr. Mstwe.
Sodolophu kananjalo siyazi into kokubana phambi koba le financial iqale kukhona inkqubo obuyiphehlelele ye-paving ubuyiphehlelele apho kwa-Ward 10 eJoqabi waphinda kwakhona wayiphehlelela kwa-Ward 4 eBurgerstop waphinda kwakhona wayoyiphehlelela kwa-Ward 1 eVenterstad ingabe iqhuba njani?
Mr. Majenge, you know what is nice about development when it starts we all get excited about it because it is developing the area it makes our area more attractive. But then it also provides jobs to our SMMEs, especially the local ones. Kodwa uzawufumaniseka into yokuba Mr. Majenge ngamanye amaxesha abantu bethu abanyanisekanga. Xa kufaneke sibaqeshile bayazixela into yokuba bazawukwazi uyenza umsebenzi. I-paving yase-Ward 1 eVenterstad ihambe kakuhle ukufa. Kodwa kukhona nje impazamo ofuna ukwenziwa ngumuntu oyi-1 wasekuhlaleni. Nalapho siyabacela man mabayeke masiqhubekeke nge-development. Xa sifika pe Ward 4 kwayona iqhuba kakuhle Mr. Majenge nabahlali. Apha Ward 10 kulapho sinengxaki khona apha eMalitswayi eJoqapi. Ndifumene i-report izolo into yokuba lo mntu ebeyiqhuba le SMME has withdrawn herself from the project. So uyayibona into yokuba xa simbuza ukuba yintoni ingxaki ebesixela into yokuba she is not financial stable. So into izawukwenzeka ngoku Mr. Majenge ayizuma la project. I-management through Mr. Musumpa as director ka-technical services bazayohlala i-BAC meeting kako. Apho bazawuthatha the second person, the second highest bidder, enabling into yokuba sikwazi ugqiba ii-projects zethu, because into ndingayifuniyo is that sibe ne-white projects. We need to finish our projects so that we are able to account for them to the community, but also so that the AG does not question us about these unfinished projects.
Mhlambe sithi lo phambi basigqithe apha ingaba intoni engunobangela into kokubana ithi i-service provider eseqalile ukwenza umsebenzi izibone seyiphakathi ubana iyohlulakala nokuqhubeleka nomsebenzi?
It all has to do with capital flow. Imali xa siba akasenayo. So yiloo nto and ndiyayivuyela loo nto Mr. Majenge ekwazile ukuza phambili asixelele into yokuba andizukwazi ukuba ndinale ngxaki up until ukuba sizifumaniseke into yokuba ayimove le project akomntu osixelelayo kwenzeka ntoni, so that we are able to move from where we are. So that is basically the answer that akanamali ukuba akwazi uqhubekeka.
Sisathetha kanye ngoluphuhliso sedolophu lweziseko ezingundoqo infrastructure. Ubuke wandwendwela eStainsburg kungekudala khawusixelele undwendwelo lakho eStainsburg belumayelana nantoni?
Paya Stainsburg, it was basically to hand over a project. It was actually an access road that we were busy building within the community. But then when I was taking a walk, something beautiful was happening. Sunral, that is busy working on the R56 road rehabilitation project, they actually giving back to the community to that hospital access road. And I must also envisage that this road was actually supposed to be part of the projects that we will be undertaking in this financial year, but then they assisted us because it is speaking to our IDP. And it does not only end there, Mr. Majenge. I also saw that in front of the hospital, there's another road that they are building for the municipality. And this is all giving back to the community. It's exciting due to the fact that Stainsburg is a small town, but it also has like people coming from your Craddock, from PE, from Cape Town. So it makes it more attractive so that people can understand and also see that indeed Walter Sisulu is busy revitalizing these small towns. Thank you very much.
So Dolophu phambi uba ndigqithe kwakhona kulo mba ndiyaqiniseka into yokokubana le nto othetha ngayo is in relation to umcimbi woku-upgradewa kwendlela R58 egqitha phaa edolophini eStainsburg. Mhlambi loo nto ithetha ukuthini ngokukhuliswa kwedolophu ezincinci nokuba mazenziwe entle?
I think first and foremost, it's more about attracting investors. Because remember, when an investor wants to come to a place, akafuna uza kwindawo engathi it's dirty, it is dull. They want it to be attractive. The same is taking place on the R58 between Malitswayi and Lady Grey, where the road is also being rehabilitated, but also seeing Taupili giving back, yet again, having our roads being paved. And we're also excited on another give back project that Taupili will be undertaking with the municipality, where they will be graveling some streets within the location, but also focusing on rehabilitating some of the inner roads within our town. Because they said to us, they focus more on roads that will be linking to schools, to hospitals, to clinics. So we've got quite a few in town, and this will assist us because yet again, it will be speaking to our IDP.
Alright, masiphinde sikhumbuze Mphulaphula ekhaya usaphulaphule usasazo ngqo olukhethekileyo lusuka apha eWalter Sisulu Local Municipality eMaltswayi kulapho sikhona ke namhlanje sisasaza ngqo ku Facebook Facebook page wethu iWalter Sisulu Local Municipality ukanti ke sikwa live kwiTakalani Community Radio nekulijelo losasazo lasekuhlaleni lolapha eWalter Sisulu. Nawe ke Mphulaphula ekhaya ungathatha inxaxheba kwinkqubo yethu ngokusitsalela umnxeba ku-065 995 6498 kulapho ke uzokwazi ukusibhalela khona kuWhatsApp ukwazi nokusenzela khona ivoice note ukwazi nokusifowunela khona uyakwazi ke kwapha kuFacebook njengoba ubukele ukusibhalela pha kwi-comment section box pha ezantsi apho uzokwazi ukushiya khona umyalezo wakho okanye umbuzo ongathanda into kokubana usodolophu awuphendule thina siza kufundela lo mbuzo ngqo apha kolusasazo sodolophu kukhona umyalezo esiwufumeneyo osuka kumakhulu oneminyaka e72 umakhulu ngumakhulu Khatshwa uthi uhlala eblock H2 kwaward 8 uthi unamazwi ombulelo kakhulu kuwe kokunye nesebe lezokuhlaliswa kwabantu human settlements uthi ke nampentela indlu ungaba kwenze njani kwakutheni uyayikhumbula lo mini leyo
Well, Mr. Majenge, ndiyayikhumbula ibinge 26 kaJuly ngo-2022 where we were celebrating iMandela Month. Ukubone wena Mr. Majenge kumnandi usebenza nabantu. I think it is something that is always nice umuntu xa ke kwazi uthi enkosi. Besike sadibana nomama no director yakwa human settlement ne team yakhe. Ufumaniseka into yokuba umama ufuna ulungisa indlu yakhe kodwa akanamali ukwenza lonto. So ngaloo ndlela ke she was handpicked into yokuba siye pha to give back as part of Mandela Month. And then ndiyabulela nami into yokuba wasinikela lo thuba to make a difference in her life because it surely shows that this government is a caring government.
Masibulele kakhulu sodolophu mhlawumbi kwiprogram ezifana nale social investment program mhlawumbi azenziwa ngumasipala kuphela namanye amasebe karhulumente ungathini mhlawumbi eluntwini kwakunye nasomashishini kwenzela uba nabo apho bekwazi khona bancedise
I think when you come to the social impact of doing things, it is very important that as a whole community, including the business fraternal, whichever stakeholder there is, we need to take hands in ensuring in Dogba we are able to assist the underprivileged. Because remember, you've got different categories. You've got child-headed homes, apho uzawufumaniseka into yokuba abantwana bahleli bodwa abana family. Most of the time social development would come in, but at times it's not enough. And we are not saying that they are a burden, but we feel in Dogba it is our social duty to do that. And as the municipality, we cannot do that alone. We need all stakeholders to come together so that we make this a better community, so that we bring back the culture of Ubuntu. Because if there is a problem in the community, we know in Dogba, if I go and knock on a door, maybe Pakwa, okay, I'll be able to be assisted. So I think that is a request and that is a clarion call that I would like to make to Walter Sisulu, to all stakeholders. The time has come for us to put our hands together, give back to the needy, and believe you me, those are the little blessings that you get back. Because I always say, I go to your shop, I buy something, and at least give back. It doesn't need to be a lot, but at least show in Dogba you appreciate me. And together as the municipality, with the various sector departments, I think we can make a big difference on the social compact of things.
Phakathi kwezinye zezinto oye wazithetha xa ufungiswa njengosedolophu ngoNovember unyaka ophelileyo wathi uzokwenza kangangokunako ukusebenzisana nazo zonke izindlu zasekuhlaleni i-stakeholders kwakunye ne-civil society organizations xa unokwenza i-assessment ngoku ungathi kwenzeka ngokohlobo onqwenela ngalo.
To be honest, we are not where we want to be, Mr. Majenge. I don't know, is it of past experiences? But we are making, yet again, I'm calling upon all stakeholders. I have started having sessions with the business section, where we're actually looking into ngoku, ukuba sizawuba ne-MELDEC yethu, the Mayoral Economic Development Committee, where all these businessmen will be, women will be, SMMEs will be, not only looking to how do they give back, but how do they grow each other, especially the SMMEs. You've got your other fraternals like your priests, your bishops, abefundisi. It is not where we want, especially even on an IGR level. We have been complaining on various platforms where we were even with the MEC of COGTA, where we were with the Premier to say in Dogba, but departments are just not coming to the party. It's more of wanting to work in silos, and that is very dangerous because I believe we are one government. But I believe and I understand that they've listened, because normally even on an IGR platform, they will send us junior officials that will go back and tell you, Disayo Sabel. And that is not how we want government to work. So I'm looking forward to the transformation as we've spoken to this, so that we just strengthen the relations in making a better society within Walter Sisulu.
If we may go back a bit earlier, we spoke about small town revitalization and beautification of small towns. Now, some people are crying that there are stray animals in those small towns. Now, what is the municipality doing in relation to that?
I think we must start with a disclaimer that for now, the municipality does not have a pound. And where I am seated, it would not always be nice to pound animals because some people make a living out of it. But what I can suggest and what I'm encouraging, particularly the emerging farmers, follow processes. If you need indawo apho uzawubeka i-livestock yakho, go to that relevant department, request assistance, but make sure into yokuba you take care of these animals of yours, because imbi into wena Mr. Macheng into yokuba you now have to stop for goats in the street. Accidents can happen. So it's a loud plea and a cry to the farmers. Keep your livestock out of areas where they should not be. Keep them out of town. Keep them where they should be. If you need assistance, approach the Department of Agriculture, approach the municipality as to say, how best can you guide me? Because remember, we can only guide you as the municipality to say into yokuba ungaya kubani uyenze njani bakwazi ukuba ke ngoku bakuncedise. But ndiyabacela abahlali, ndiyabacela into yokuba mabakhuphe okanye mabazigcine imfuyo zabo kwezo ndawo faneke bazigcine khona.
Siselapha kulomba wemfuyo nolimo Sozolopu besike sabona ubhalile kumakhasi akho onxibelelwano into yokubana ubuke wandwendwela ifama apha kuthiwa iownwa ligqiyazana elincinanana ndilibele nje igama lakhe ngathi nguDintle okanye Dimpho, something like that. Ungake usithele tsuphe ngokubana yintoni mhlawumbe wayibona kulaa fama nokuthi laa nto incedisa njani kule nto ye-local economic development, particularly ebantwini abangomama abasebancinci nabantu abancinci in general.
Yes, I think it was a very motivating experience. Uba uDintle is only 28 years and she has got a mixed farm. Xa sithetha nge-mixed farm, unegusha, unenkomo, uyanto, khona nekipu, she's planting. So it was very impressive to see into yokuba umntu omtsha is actually so, how can I say, possessive over what she's doing. She's got the oomph of wanting to actually grow abanye. As she even highlighted to us in Togba, there are other young people that she is mentoring. There are other young people looking to see in Togba how best do they go further in farming, in ensuring in Togba they assist in dropping the poverty levels, in dropping the high unemployment rate. And I must say to the local economic development front, it assists a lot, because when we were on site, she was selling her eggs, okay? She was selling chickens. She's even going now to another step where she's starting to sell livestock. So that is motivation to young people to say in Dogba, it is not all about just wanting to be in an office from 7 to 4. You've got skills. Go out, go and explore them. Hamba uyoqonqoza kwiminyango because yonke into ayizuza kuwe if awuzuziqala into yokuba ufuna uyenza. But most important, Mr. Macheng, xa uyenza into, you need to have a passion for it. Ungayipha just because into yokuba uMr. Manzi uyayenza, uMr. Manzi uyaphumelela. Kaloku wena as uVania unesakhono sakho, uMr. Manzi unesakhono sakhe. So look into what you are passionate about. Look into what you are able to do so that you actually achieve, you actually reap the fruits from what you want to endure.
Ukuba bakhona abanye abafana naye mhlambe abazazi bamabaqale phi ukhona umnyango abanganqonqoza pha kuko kwamasipala. Ndiyaqonda ke into yokuba mhlambe ulimo lunesebe lalo but ngumasipala umuntu azombona kufutshane naye.
Ukhona, Mr. Machenge, we've got the PED department that is divided into various departments where you also have the local economic development officials that are most warmed up individuals. They are more than willing to assist abantu abatsha or anybody that has an interest in doing farming or even just to ask in Dogba how they go about even having their own businesses. And many more. That office will be able then to send you or to guide you as to say, where can you go, which doors can you open, and as I say, they even go a step further in assisting you.
Uthethe nangophuhliso skills development, but ndizafuna sibuye apho, masiqale kulo mbaqala, siselapha kwi-small businesses. Bekho isikhalo esivela kosomashishini abancinci ingakumbi abakwile sector ekuthiwa i-hospitality njengokuba ii-sectors zoqoqosho zininzi kakhulu bokubana engathi balahlelwe kwabha bebe-affected i-COVID-19 izinto zonke ezimile bengakwazi ukwenza nto ngoku izinto ziyabuyela esiqhelweni xa beqala bethi bathatha amashishini abo bawasendaweni bayagxekwa ngokubana hayi mhlambe omnye uba uyapheka kuthiwa ile plate yakho ingathi iyachichima umuntu enza angakuthanda ukutya athi siphinde ukusebenzise kwexa elilandelayo. Esisikhalo sabo sokubana ingathi anibahoyanga anibancedisi nikhawulelana njani naso mhlawumbe ngathi izintoni eninokuzenza ukukhawulelana naso?
I think bese siqalisile Mr. Macheng, uWalter Sisulu together with Ijo Qabi, environment health practitioners, apho sabane workshop khona eBurgersdorp, focusing on the catering department. Apho sababonisa abantu into yokuba how important it is for your food not to be contaminated, how important it is apho usebenza khona fanele kube clean, so that bakwazi understand nabo into yokuba the cleanliness of what they are doing is actually bringing business to them, is actually putting them on the map, would actually make them one of the favorites, so that they are able to accumulate imala by funai. So there has been work that has been done, but also, Mr. Machenge, what is very important, and also a plea to the SMMEs of Walter Sisulu, they act as if they are strangers to each other, you know. Landin dogba umntu ohlala eMaltswayi akazukwazi uyenza umsebenzi eBurgersdorp, whereas we are one municipality. Sisicelo sam as in dogba, we should get rid of that notion, because kwabona, how then do they grow themselves? Because remember, within the building sector, you need to have certain levels. You need to go up to certain grades. But how do you go up to those grades if you are not willing to share the responsibility? So I think we need to make our own area viable, enabling us to grow, so that nabo bayekele into yokuba kutheni sizisa abantu abangaphandle. We also want to see grade 8 contractors. We also want to see grade 9. And I am happy to say that we have got now, but they're not as many as we want. So e-contractors there, especially the SMMEs, the emerging ones, they should open their hearts, they should open their minds to say in Dogba, let us all work together. Because I just want to share a story with you. I got a message the other day, me having forged relationships with the mayor of Muagar. One actually sent a message, Mayor, is it then feasible for us to go to Moakare and take our, or go and participate? It is, you are more than welcome. But then you need to start at home, because Kwanina, you are not seeing each other, you are not supporting each other, but yet you want to go outside. So it is very important that they support each other here so that they can get recognition kwezinye indawo. I can go to places, I can open doors for them, but who says in Togba bazahoywa if it has to be found in Togba they are not supporting each other? So it is fundamental that they support each other so that they are enabling themselves to grow within the jurisdiction.
Mhlambi ke kwabanye osomashishini sodolophu kwezinye sectors ngokunjalo uthethile igabala ngazo ingaba nazo ngokuhlukana kwazo niyakwazi ukuzinika ingqwalasela xa bezocela uncedo.
That's why we're here. I believe that is why government is here. That's why you'd also hear the president saying, Dogba, it is very important for the private sector to start taking hands with local government. And how do we do that? In growing business. And within our jurisdiction, Mr. Majenge, when I am sitting down and actually just scoping around, the best way for this area or this municipality to survive is to ensure in Togba there's local economic development in terms of businesses, in terms of, how can I say, investors coming to the municipality. Because remember, most of the community are indigenous. And how then do we keep ourselves afloat? So it is important that SMMEs take center stage and they do it adequately so.
All right, masiphinde sikhumbuze kumphulaphule osiphulaphuleyo kunomathotholo iTakalani Community Radio that olu lusasazo olukhethekileyo oluphathelwa ngumasipala waseWalter Sisulu nalapho ke phathele khona usodolophu kwinkqubo ethi thetha nosodolophu wakho wamkelekile ke mphulaphule ekhaya into yokuba ubhale ufowune okanye wenze i-voice note. I-numbers zokwenza oko zikhona zezi besendizibizile ngaphambili ngu-065 995 6498. Kulapho ke uzawuthi ukwazi ukuthabatha inxaxheba ngokupheleleyo kule nkqubo. Sodolophu besike sathetha ngophuhliso lwezakhono phaa ngaphambili, ndathi ndizawuphinda ndibuyele kulo mba i-skills development. Lo ngumba sodolophu otshisa ibunzi inkalo zonke zelizwe loMzantsi Afrika ngokuqinisekileyo nalapha eWalter Sisulu ingakumbi kubantu abatsha. Ithini inkqubo yenu yokuphuhlisa izakhono zabantu abatsha ingakumbi aba kukhalwa ngabo kakhulu into yokubana bayile esikolweni bazifumene izertificate bebeyozifunda bazinxibe izidanga zabo kodwa abade bafumane amathuba wokubana bakwazi ukungena emisebenzini?
That, Mr. Majenge, that is my passion, to see young people thrive. And how do you see young people thrive if you don't open opportunities for them? So what we started by doing in the inception of myself as a mayor last year, we actually had requested, especially your graduates, to come and register themselves on the database of the municipality, so that not only we use that database, we actually send it out also to other departments, including labor. But I also need to emphasize that it was very slow. So I'm motivating graduates in Togba, come put yourself on the database. You don't need to pay anything, so that when we have programs running within the municipality, asizulaqas, because within the database, Pioneer, you're actually being specified as to say in Togba, you are good for finance, you actually to IT, so that when we need individuals like that, we know we are able to go onto the database. We are actually able to share also with other departments. But most important, Mr. Majenge, on the 1st of August, we welcomed 21 interns. This was a program that was also assisted, or we were assisted with through UFACET. This is a program that will be running for 12 months. And it was mostly also focusing on the accounting services sector. But we are also running now a program where we are focusing, we call them the mayoral tutors. But these tutors are graduates that will be found in each and every town, where we would want them to give back, because we are focusing on, especially on physics and maths, so that our young children can actually better themselves. Because when looking to the matric results last year, we picked up in Dogba within Walter Sisulu, there is a backlog when it comes to your maths and your physics. So these young tutors will be giving back to the community, but they will be also being paid for what they will be doing. So I'm actually looking forward to that program. Nevertheless, we are also looking even to extend it even further. Having had a session with the Department of Education to say, Dogba, whilst I have these tutors, how best then do we then equip themselves? Because maybe some of them would want to become lecturers. How do they become lecturers? So I'm also excited that Department of Education will be coming on board very soon. And who knows, we might be able to up the 5, and we might even have more, because the outlook to it is to ensure in Dogba, sayazmos makai, okanye lokshin, abanye bazali bethu, they don't have money, abakwazi usabantwana ku aftercares, abo bazawuyoncediswa nge-homeworks. So a new program that I'm envisaging to undertake apho ke ngoku abantwana bazawukwazi usebenzisa iholo zethu, abantwana bazawukwazi uya kwezo holo bakwazi uncediswa ngantoni ye-homeworks zabo, bakwazi unyusa man i-matric results zabo, but not only the matric results, throughout high school and even in primary, because I believe it starts in primary. So we will be focusing on all 5 towns. And as I say, it is also a call out to your various sectors, your various departments, your various private companies to come on board with the municipality to see how best do we change the lives of these young people, because we are all frustrated as young people. There's not a lot of job opportunities. We graduate, but what happens after that? So I am pleading, I'm actually inviting all these sectors to come on board and assist us as to say, how best then do we alleviate poverty? How best then do we bring down the unemployment rate?
Le nkqubo Sejolophu kanye le yokubana uthumele i-tutors ezikolweni, mhlawumbi ndibonile into yokubana ngenye ipassion onayo le yokujonga izikolo ukubana ziqhuba njani. Mhlawumbi ukhethe izikolo obonayo into yokubana zifuna ukuncediswa apho kufuneke uthumele khona ezi specific tutors. Mhlawumbi mandibuze ngohlobo, le idea uyifumene njani?
I think I'm more of that person, Mr. Majenga. I'm very spontaneous. As you say, I normally go and visit schools, and I have a passion for that. So I could pick up in our high schools especially. There was a need for tutors. As much as they have after classes, the teachers are assisting them very much. But I just felt in Dogba, let's add on. Kwezikolo that did not really perform well within the last exams, I felt in Dogba, this is something we need to do. This is something that as a mayor, as the municipality, would want to give back to these schools. So it was more of having to have an insight of what was really happening as Golwen, and how best then do I give back as a mayor on behalf of this institution.
Kwinkqubo yakho Sejolophu yokubuyela ezikolweni obuhamba kuyo ngokuqala konyaka, enye izinto ubufocus kuzo kakhulu kukuthetha nabantwana ubalungiselela unyaka ongaphambili. Ingaba apha phakathi enyakeni mhlawumbi ikhona enye inkqubo oyoyilandele nanjengoko abanye bezawuqhubeleka beyobhala exams, ukhumbule into yokubana aba bantwana sithetha ngabo bazawubhala imatric, mhlawumbi kunyaka olandelayo bangene kule category esigqiba kuthetha ngayo ngoku apho kufuneke bephuhliselwe khona izakhono zabo. Mhlawumbi ukuyibamba ekuthini pha ekuqaleni during that period ababhala ngayo exams ukuze baphume neziphumo ezihle ezakubancedisa nokubana kube lula ubheka phambili. Ikhona enye inkqubo mhlawumbi ongathi uyilandele?
Mandiqale apha ke Mr. Majeng, if ukhumbula besike saya eVenterstad. Kwesinye isikolo ibizwa Simphiwe Secondary School. If you can remember, isikolo was not in a good state. Abantwana bebekhala into yokuba kuyabanda, otishala bebekhala into yokuba xa behamba phansi kuba ngathi bayatshona. I think it is safe to say, and I'm proud to say, that the Department of Education has come on board with Kucha. They will be renovating the school. The ward councillor had a meeting last week with the SGB and the teachers there. So we will see a different Simphiwe Ketwa as we had promised. And as the MEC had also promised to say in Dogba, he will come back and make sure in Dogba it's happening. It is going to happen. And then also coming to Alet van der Merwe, if we can remember in Dogba, it was a school that burned. They will also be focusing, or they will also be falling part of that program that the Department of Education is busy rolling out now, the similar one to the one that we'll be undertaking in Simphiwe Ketwa. I think, Mr. Majenge, we have within my office, have structured where we would want to go back and just motivate the learners again, preparing them for their last exams. We all know that they have gone through their prelims, but we want to go there giving over the baton where we would really want to motivate them to the last hurdle, because I know it becomes very tedious now. It's becoming very nerve-wracking. Just to go and tell them to say, Dogba, we've got their back. So as I started in the beginning of the year, I will end it off with them. So there is a program that will be going back to those schools.
Masi gqithisa idolophu siye kwinyanga epheleleyo inyanga apho bekuqatshelwa khona inxaxheba nokuvuyisana nendlela abantu bangomama abenza ngayo into yokubana masibe namhlanje sililizwe elikhululekileyo i-Women's Month. Waye wabhala kwaye wapapasha into ekuthiwa yi-opinion piece apho waye wathi khona ndifuna ukucaphula ngqo lento uyibhalile pha. Let us work together to ensure that we create a conducive environment for our mothers, sisters and daughters to live and realize their dream. Yintoni ebangela uba mabe ubhala ngolu hlobo?
You know, as women, we are very marginalized. Marginalized in numbers, marginalized in the fact that it is always landing up, but this is a man's world, you know. So it became very important for me to structure myself or to posture myself in a way where we reach out to each and every woman, for us to come together and actually realize the strength we have, the power we have, and the drive we have. What a man can do, a woman can also do. And times have changed. We are in a different phase of how we're doing things. Then, Mama, Mr. Majeng, was seen as being in the kitchen with Umdane Mkolo cooking. But today, no. We are actually the ones that are able to build that kitchen. We are actually the ones that are able to do the plumbing within that kitchen. So it just shows you how we have changed. So it was very important for me just to remind a woman, to say, Ndogba, how important you are and what capabilities you have, and that nobody should tell you otherwise. So that is why I think maybe also in one of the programs that we did with the Department of Transport in August month, it was Operation Basadi, where actually also the director is a female, Umis Kanyis, where we came together as the municipality and the department going on to the N6. We all know in Dogba, it's a busy period when people would have gone home because it was a long weekend. And just to motivate our drivers or even the pedestrians to say in Dogba they need to keep safe. At times when I was speaking to them, Mr. Majenge, I was saying, we take it very light what traffic officers actually do. We in Nalantin Dogba, oh, this one is just going to give me a ticket. But when you go there, you don't realize what difference a traffic cop really makes. Because a pedestrian or the driver might have gone out of the house, might have gone out of a house where that person stays alone. There is nobody that says good morning. There is nobody that says how are you. There is nobody that says drive safely. So when you get to that point and you have a smiling face and you ask these questions, it actually also does something to somebody, because you would not know what that person went through. So it is always nice to see traffic cops, what role they really play within the community by just saying good morning, how are you, and travel safe. So they do really play a vital role within the community, not only looking to the tickets that they write to us, but also to the aspect as to say, Ntogba, how then do we conduct ourselves after having had an interaction with them.
Sinengxoba kaxaka ye gender based violence sodolophu nalapha eWalter Sisulu ke asikho immune kulondo siba nazo icases esimane sizifumana zokubana umama okanye intombi iyagetyengwa pha kwagetyengwa indoda pha kwagetyengwa umama pha mhlawumbe uthini umyalezo wakho kubantu baseWalter Sisulu?
Mr. Majenge, that is GBV and femicide is another pandemic. I always say that. And I don't know why is it that we should feel as prisoners within our own areas. Normally, as young women, when you would see Umdongo Dada, you would see somebody that is there to protect you. You would see somebody as a hero. You would see somebody that whatever anybody does, you would protect you. But today they are monsters. Our children sees them as monsters. Their own children sees them as monsters. But the same comes to us as women. Men at times also don't feel safe. But the difference between the man and the female now is that a female is able to speak out against all of this. But men, banalaw in talk about, especially tina bantu bamnyama, indoda ayikhali. And we must leave that, because we would never really understand what they are going through if they don't talk to us. So then it would be seen as if GBV would always be one-sided. So my request out to men is that protect us. Be the man that we can feel safe around. Be the man that when we need our children to be taken care of, we don't need to think twice. The same would go for women. Be the woman that is a woman. Be that soft-spoken person. Be the woman that is a mother that should care for the next person. But it is very important as a community, Mr. Majenge, we take together our hands with all stakeholders to stop this. And it is not going to be stopped by police. It's not going to be stopped by jail cells. It's all up here. It starts with you as an individual. It is a psychological issue that we all need to look into as to say, why is it that we are doing these things? It starts with you to actually realize in Dogba, there is actually something wrong with me. And don't blame society for it. Don't blame because I am unemployed. Don't blame because there wasn't a light. That's why I went to do GBV. You think before you do easy in Doganen. And you don't think about it. It just comes. Subconsciously, you find yourself doing it. So we must start with ourselves before we are able to blame any that is around us. So my plea really is, you can't go beyond just asking and requesting community members to support each other, to be there for each other, but also to the victims of GBV, not to keep quiet. Because of late, you would find that women will be requested to withdraw cases because there are these men that find themselves in high positions that should not be seen doing this. The same with females. You find themselves that men have to lay low because this man might be in a way also in a high position, so he does not want to be seen njengendoda ophetyebhetye. So that is basically what I would say to them. But also that the law must take its course. The police can only go up to a stage where they are able to incarcerate you for that day. But when you go to the Department of Justice, they need to ensure in Togba they start becoming harsh. We need to see people going to jail. We understand, as the minister was saying the other day, that our jails are being overflooded. But people need to pay for what they have done. And we are not going to take that lying low as women. We are going to fight. We are going to make our voices heard, and loudly so. Thank you, Mr. Majenge.
Londo sidolophu isizisa kulomba okubana ubuke wathi xa busenza intetho yakho yobume bukamasipala ufuna ukuqinisa la ofisi yakho ibe nayo neofisi ezawujongana ne-special programs. Ingaba ezo zicwangciso zisaqhuba?
Zisaqhuba, Mr. Majenge. Having spoken with management, SPU office should not just be an SPU office for the sake of being an SPU office. An SPU office obviously then will be divided into various categories. As we know, you've got women, you've got youth, you've got the disabled category. And those people should actually match. There should be a young person, there should be a woman, there should be somebody with a disability that is working. People that understand what we will be working with, so that we make a great impact on the social ills of Walter Sisulu. As I say, and I'm going to emphasize it, it's not just going to be Ubandiobeku Mr. Majengepa because he qualifies, because I like him. No, Mr. Majenge must actually serve the purpose. He must actually be passionate about what he's trying to do. Because remember, if that office is not functioning well, my office is the same as useless, because basically I focus on the social ills or social activities that has to do with these various groupings. So yes, it is still in process, and we are hoping and believing that it will make a great difference within the municipality.
Nisebenzisana njani nesebe lophuhliso loluntu, i-social development, ekuqinisekiseni into yokuba le ofisi yakho in particular usebhizi usazama njalo into yokubana mawuyiqinise ibe yilento orhalela ibe yiyo nale nto oyithethayo ekuqinisekiseni into yokubana ezinye zezinto ziyaqhubeleka ngeli xesha usazama ukulungisa ofisi?
We've got a good relationship with social development. Siyasebenzisana. As a matter of fact, namhlanje ndifumene call esuka ku Ms. Odendaal apho bafuna umasipala athathe inxaxheba in one of the programs that they will be running. So the relationship is very good, but also remember that it cannot only be social development. There are other external factors and external stakeholders that makes our work much more easier when it comes to these social ills. So the relationship is very good.
Masiphinde sikhumbuze umphulaphula ekhaya into yokubana usabukele usasazo ngqo ku Facebook WESLM Walter Sisulu Local Municipality, kulapho ke sikusasazela khona inkqubo ekhethekileyo ethi thetha nosodolophu wakho. Sikwakhona ke nakwitakalani Community Radio. Vuya uthabe usekhaya usiphulaphule ngqo apho umphulaphule ekhaya. Nansi inamba ukwazi ukusalela umnxeba kuyo ukuze uthathe inxaxheba kule nkqubo yethu. Ukwazi ukuzibuzela umbuzo kusodolophu ngu-065 995 6498. Ukhona umphulaphule okhona emnxebeni. Mphulaphule masikwamkele enkqubeni. Uthini umbuzo wakho?
995 6498.
Molo tata.
Kunjani?
Siyaphila, inkosi, kunjani?
Kuhle. Ngingumphulaphuli nemibuzo emibini okanye ngaba mithathu, manje emibini kwangoku endinayo. Owokuqala umbuzo kumeya, siyabulela ubukho bakhe babe khona asisebenzele. Siyasibona nje into azenzayo kwalapha ekhaya, usebenza shini, uyasebenza kokuqala ke lo. And then bendincoma kwalapha ndifuna uqonda malunga nengxaki yento yokulungisa ii-potholes ezi, okanye ngumbane, okanye into zimvula ezi ezenze ukuba kungasetyenzwa, okanye into zani yingxaki esinayo ke leyo. Ii-potholes zalapha zimbi kakhulu, especially xa uzawuya etawuni uzawungena elokishini, yeyona nto embi ke leyo.
Alright, inkosi kakhulu, masibulele kakhulu. Sodolophu masibe sesingena kuwo umbuzo ngumbane, sorry, zii-potholes. Ndicinga ngombane because xa ndigqiba apha ndizawuya embaneni, but makesiqale apha kwii-potholes. Kuthiwa indlela azikhontle nemvula ezina zisanda kunetha, kodwa indlela zona azihambeki ukungena elokishini.
Enkosi, Mr. Majenge, and let me appreciate umphulaphulu ngombuzo wakhe. I think, Mr. Majenge, I was very excited 2 weeks back where we eventually received our material so that we can start that operation of closing of potholes. But I was taking up with the team to say, Ndogba, kutheni ingade niqale? As we all saw in Togba, the weather was not favorable to do that. But it's safe to say that we must also understand singabahlali in Togba, xa siqalisa into, we started kwindawo like in one corner, then we move with it. Sebeqalisile kodwa abakavali bebesalungisa into yokuba bakhupha le yakudala so that xa bedlula bazawukwazi into yokuba bayipetshe kakuhle. So izawukwenzeka throughout Walter Sisulu. In each and every town apho kune potholes khona sizoyenza njalo. Up until one day maybe into yokuba xa sinemali sikwazi usitharisha into indlela zethu kodwa lo program has started. It is gonna keep going on up until we've envisaged Minister Majenge into yokuba to close all the potholes that our community members are complaining about.
Masibuyele embaneni esedolophu. Ndithetha nje nawe kukho ingxubakaxaka yombane ekhona. Besikade singenambane for the past 3 hours. Mhlawumbi ungathi yintoni ebangela into ubana masibe nengxaki yombane? Siyayibona le national engxaki yombane, mhlawumbi ke uzawuthethana ngayo, but kukhona ii-instances apho eWalter Sisulu uzofumana into kubana iSprings ayinambane, iJogqabi ayinambane, nje kuphele 2 to 3 days umbane kweza areas ungekho. Okwesibini kube khona iarea ekuthiwa area 13 phaphezulu kwa ward 6 nakhona uPaul bana nakhona umbane is a bit of a problem. Akuhlaleki umbane ungacimanga, even if uphelile 2 weeks umbane ulayitile normally kuba ibonus leyo.
Iyomba ke le Mr Majenge endiqona into yokuba singu technical esiqwalasile into yokuba it is very important that we start focusing on in-network infrastructure yethu, taking into cognizance that the area is growing, so we also still have old infrastructure. So we need to, or we have started to say into about how best then do we ensure we actually upgrade the infrastructure within Walter Sisulu local municipality. Indeed, as you would say, one area would light, then the other area would go down. Also during winter, there's a high voltage. So you would see in Dogba, the load becomes very heavy at times. So it all just comes down into aging infrastructure. So we need to ensure as Umaspala, we actually maintain what we have and we maintain adequately so that we don't find us the electricity is going every time in two. When it comes to the issue of load shedding, we all know it's a national phenomenon. And we are then waiting for national government as it is work in progress as to say, Ndogba, how best then do they defeat it? But from our side, I believe it's more of aging infrastructure, and that is something we need to find ourselves working on. Because Nakulonto, Mr. Majenge, maybe we should also incite that ngamanye amaxesha uzawufumaniseka ukuba abantu bakuthi ikwabona bamoshayo. We've picked up xa usiya ngasesibhedlele khona indlela pha xa unyukayo there's a lamp post phayana. Ibike yablast I think a few weeks ago. But when you go into that lamp post where the guys wanted to put in a bulb, they just found out in Dogba, hey, but this bulb is not lighting. Our people are becoming very creative. They take the lights, or how can I say, the wires from the outside. So tina xa sinyuka sifuna ulungisa bulbs uzazibhaqa into yokuba akokwa wire phakathi. So we would request mana bahlali to desist from ezo zinto because incedisana kwa uluntu bona bayayimosha. Ngomso kuzawuthwa umasipala uthini akasebenzi okanye sitya imali. So ndiyababongoza into yokuba apho naba abanye abahlali xa bebona into yokuba umntu khona into ayenzayo mabasixelele kaloku asizuthi ukuba uyimpimpi but le ndlela baqhuba ngayo it's putting us 10 feet back because sisiqala into yokuba sibhajetele le mali ngokuba silungise kodwa xa usibhaqa ke ngoku you are spending twice as much as you have budgeted, and it is a very big problem for the municipality.
Kukho abakhalayo ngokubana ngamanye amaxesha babane isolated cases apho aba umbane kwesi strato uzocima endlini yam okanye isigubhu sam sombane singasebenzi. But umasipala is taking forever to respond to such issues. Ungathini kuloo nto?
I think that is unacceptable. We have spoken to the technical team that there must be a turnaround time. And I also believe this will also assist us, Mr. Majenge, when we have our customer care number, where our communities will be able to WhatsApp to it, where they will be able to call into it, and then where we will be able to keep track as to saying, Dogba, how far has this person done his work? If the job is complete, we are able to get back to the complainant to say, Dogba, we are done with our work. So that is another program that I am looking forward to, where we will have our customer care number, where we will actually also have our office, where young people or these interns that we are getting will be looking as to say what complaints are coming in, how do then we disseminate it to the various departments within the municipality and even external departments, because we cannot take away or run away from the fact that yonkinto izapha kumasipala noba ayithethi ngomasipala. So that is how we are trying, or we are going to stop this, because there needs to be a turnaround time into solving issues pertaining service delivery.
Phambi koba siye kwi-voice notes, ingathi sine-voice notes esinazo sedolophu. Kukhona nesikhalo, ucacisile into ye-load shedding, into yokokubana yingxaki echaphazela urhulumente kazwelonke ngokupheleleyo, kwaye urhulumente usebenza kuyo laa nto. Kodwa abantu balapha eWalter Sisulu bayakhala into yokubana ningumasipala niba-informi ngento yokokubana umbane ulayita nini, ucima nini. Phambi koba uphendule lo mbuzo, masiqale sikhawuleze siye kumphulaphula osemnxebeni. Molweni ekhaya.
Bhuti kunjani?
Siyaphila enkosi, kunjani?
Kamanje.
Ewe mhlekazi. Ngicela umbuzo.
Okay.
All right, ingathi molweni ekhaya. Molweni ekhaya. All right, masicela umphulaphula aphinde kwakhona azame ukufowuna kwakhona. Sedolophu kukhona lo mba ubana abantu abathi abaxeleleki ngendlela efanelekileyo into bombane ucima nini uphinde ulayite nini apha eWalter Sisulu.
Mr. Majenga, I think Walter Sisulu is one of the best communicators when it comes to that. I've even seen other municipalities following suit. Apho sithatha information esifumanayo ku-Eskom, siyifaka kwi-groups zethu, we put it on our Facebook page. Abanye or councillor or Mr. Manzi as a public participation would also send it through. Technical services would also send it through to us, and we will disseminate it. I think in one of the requests that we have made to the community is that we need them to meet us halfway. Abanye bethu, we've got smartphones, so we have requested them to actually also download the app for their own convenience, because ngamanye amaxesha our network is also down. They might not get it on Facebook. So I think it's more of it's a partnership here. Let's meet each other halfway. And also maybe, Mr. Majenge, looking onto this issue pertaining that we don't communicate. There was an issue in Stainsburg where the community was actually also complaining to St. Dogba, kodwa masipala kutheni nisloada kabini. It came as a shock to me also as the mayor. And having made follow-ups, luckily yesterday, I had a session with the management of Eskom, not with junior officials, where we found out that Eskom went into our line and they actually put on a meter that actually meters the NMD. So when the NMD in Stainsburg goes up, then it automatically cuts. But then you'd find Jengba, it's a blackout. After an hour, it's load shedding. So you'd actually be hitting that community twice without being informed, because Nati, we were not informed. We've made it clear to Eskom that we don't appreciate that. They should have communicated with us, enabling we communicate with our communities to say in Dogba, Nani Gengo, don't light too many stoves. We understand that there's a lot of activity now taking place in Stensburg. There are more people compared to what it was. Obviously, there will be more appliances that are going to be used. But ESCOM also needs to take into cognizance that we need to communicate with our communities. If something of that sort happens, we should be found the ones in the front row. So I think there was a memo that was sent out on Friday to the community of Stensburg so that they can understand in Dogba what is really going on. So it is very important to communicate, but it is also very important that the community of Walter Sisulu also come to the party. We assist each other because remember, they are government and we really need to assist each other.
Masingene sidolophu kulomcimbi we street lights siselapha embaneni kumnyama eWalter Sisulu phansi kuzo zonke futhi idolophu uzelapha eWalter Sisulu kwaye abantu baseWalter Sisulu babambelele kwinto ubuyithethile xa ubufika eofisini wayiphinda kwakhona ngexesha ubusenza intetho yobume besizwe ukubana uzawujonga lo mcimbi ukubana kumnyama edolophini ngoba ikwancedisa nasekunyukeni kweqondo le crime.
Kamandi Mr. Majenge, I stay up at Walter Sisulu and you're a stranger up at Walter Sisulu. So what affects a community also affects me. So what we have done as technical services, as Abahlali would see that go to meetings but also follow us on Facebook, we are going to have a big project on streetlights. I'm focusing on every town and the tender has gone out already. The drawings have also been sent to the department. So we are looking forward because you understand the tender process can be tedious at times, but I am looking forward to that no later by the end of October should we have started putting in streetlights. And if you have seen, we have started with a few high-mast lights where we have identified a few high-mast lights that were also not working, but also requesting again, making a plea to the community. We will be fixing our infrastructure, and I must say, it is not something that we should be proud of that we will be having a project around lights. That is operational work. But because we want to do it right now, hence we went into a project phase, so that taking from there, we are able to do proper maintenance on our lights so that we don't find ourselves in this predicament again. No, requesting a community again in Togba, yekan manukuz tunul, yekan bandwana bamintogba nizbete ngeketi, okanye ngento with stones. Senzela nina ekugqibeleni so that ne investors, as I said to you, Klasiqala Mr. Macheng, akumandanga, it's not always nice to come to a dark place. Makukhanya, so that yonke enye nenye into that happens within the jurisdiction, we are able to account for it.
All right, maske siye kwi-voice notes sive khona into yokubana mhlawumbe abahlali sodolophu bathetha bathini na nawe. Maphinde ndikukhumbuze ke mphulaphula ekhaya into yokubana uyakwazi ukusenzela i-voice note iline yethu esisebenzayo inye, uyakwazi ukufona kuyo, uyakwazi ukubhala kuyo WhatsApp, uyakwazi nokwenza i-voice note kuyo ku 065 995 6498. All right, make sikhangele ngohlobo mntwana ekhaya. Kunjani? Siyaphila nathi enkosi. Bendicela umbuzo.
Chatting. Umbani kahambayo uvele ke. Then before njazi asazi bakambi is it before kwenzeka lento lokusetting, but umbani uvele uthatha ma 2 days before ubuya singayazi uba into ingxaki yenza yokuba amanzi abuye after hours okanye 2 days, and without abantu baba-notice uba imihla inyazi uba akunaba khona amanzi for a period of a day or 4 or 5 hours. Number 2, kunezindlu ezathenjiswa abantu i-veterans kuthiwa siza kokhiwa. So umeya ebengekho ke ngelo xesha ibiseyikhansila okanye asazi, but sifuna ukuba is that on the pipeline yokuba umba wabantu abaza kokhela izindlu, ngoba sibone ikhona ethi izindlu ngoku ezakokhiwe ngathi zi-8. Bebengathi abantu kwi-veterans aba bantu abaswelekile apha. And then the last one, into i-funding, umeya akanayo i-mayoral fund yakhe yena for i-sports activities okanye andifuni ungena kakhulu, ndifuna ukona nje uba umeya akanayo i-funding yena personally athi le ndine-funding yokuncedisa abantu abathile. Kunabantu abavele baswelekele ngabantu abazali banakwanto kaba bantu ke. So umeya akwazi uncedisa abo bantu, or i-sports abantwana nasi zii-drugs nantoni ezenzekayo apha. Ngigqibile bhuti, ndiyabulela.
Alright, masibulele kakhulu. Sidolophu masiqale sithathe ivoice note uqala phambi kobana
ndicela uthatha elithuba ndibulise wena msasazi kunye nawe meya yakuthi ngegama ngoDwayne hlale Ward 6. Bengicela ukubuza apha kumeya wethu kuba ngaba le project yaka water and sanitation ibisenza ngoJogeta phangasi echintsha abaphayiphi be-asbestos efaka ababeplastiki from kwi-graveyard phangasi eMaltrai police station ukuya le phezulu kula reservoir pha ngase-Vergenoeg pha phezulu. Ndicela ukubuza cause kunento endiyivileyo kule meeting bebeyibambile ke noJogeta nazo zonke ke meeting ye-IDP, I think so. Ndicela ukubuza cause ndive into ethi leya project leya it was complete, yenziwe yagqitywa. Xa bemxelela abantu bakaJogeta bathi bayenze bayigqiba, of which abantu bebesebenza phayana bona bakhala ngento yokuba ngaba ayigqitywanga laa nto. And abantu bakaJogeta when it comes ukuthi maba-engage nento nabasebenzi aba bebesenza laa msebenzi lowawo phayana bayababaleka, bafuni tu udibana nabo in order ukuthi bona babuze abantu aba ukuba ngabanyani. I wonder i-contractor le iyenze complete na umsebenzi okanye ayiwenzanga complete, because bathathe into ephuma ilizwi eliphuma kwe-contractor without ukuthi ba-engage ne-CLO has ibiyiyo ibigade wonke laa msebenzi phaa kuleya ndawo. And for my knowledge ithi le nto lena le wonke laa msebenzi abantu bakaJogeta bathi ucomplete, awukho complete, u-incomplete laa msebenzi. For mna ndingatsho ndithi ngumsebenzi omdaka, awenziwanga kakuhle laa msebenzi, awugqitywanga. I mean abakwazi nabo uvumela icontractor ithi ugqibile umsebenzi kube kungagqitywanga. And ndifuna ukwazi umsebenzi xa wenziwe wagqitywa, anditsho mos kuba yimeya efikayo phayana ekufakwe i-ribbon and then ivule umsebenzi, ivule leyo project leyo ngokusesikweni inikezele ebahlalini. Why leyo into ingenzwanga phaa kuleya project ukuthi imeya inikezele ngeproject ebahlalini? Ithi to say bahlali ke nanku lo msebenzi besiwenza le besikade sikhala ngawo ukuthi oopipe bagqabhuka oko ababe-asbestos, sinifakele oopipe abatsha ngoku amanzi ngeke niphinde nisawasokola, sifake nee-valves ezintsha, no akho nto nizawuphinde niyisokole. Now siyaninikezela, akho nto nizawuphinde nikhalaze ngayo cause sizivile izikhalo zenu and sizenze ngendlela right, sizamile ukuzenza ngendlela erayithi. If ufuna ukuyibeka ngaloo ndlela nayo, I mean mna ndithi umeya makathathe ithuba ahambe ayojonga laa msebenzi lwana, azame ukuthi acontakte i-CLO le ibiqashwe nguJogeta ukuthi igade laa msebenzi uba ngaba icontractor iwenza kakuhle na. ayithathe ahambe nayo ayojonga lo msebenzi lo, because abasebenzi thina abasebenzi besisebenza phaya siyakhala ukuthi sirojiwe, even nexesha besilinikiwe ukuba ngaba siyolisebenza phaa kulaa msebenzi asilenzanga, asikwazanga nokuthi sisebenze inyanga epheleleyo to say kule 6 months besinikiwe sisebenze inyanga eyi-1 or sisebenze 2 months epheleleyo. Uyandiva mosimanthi epheleleyo. So into endiyitshoyo yile yokuba ngaba icontract ihambile and bathi bona kuthiwe mabahambe umsebenzi uphele ogqityiwe. I mean to say akanje kuconnectwe, even abapipe abaconnectwanga kula pipe westeel lo nyukayo oyapha phezulu edamini. How can you say into i-complete but opipe abaconnectwanga, even kwabona akwenzwanga ne-house connections, akho kwanto yenziwe but kuthiwa i-complete, kushiwe itha isikiwe nje ayipetshwanga kuletha ephuma emangcwabeni asehilton ebhekebheka zopha. How can kuthiwa lo msebenzi lowo ucomplete, of which umsebenzi usheke umdaka ungagqitywanga? Ndicela umeya wethu andithathe andibeke phambili ngayo lento mhlawumbi ecaca uba ngaba thina mhlawumbi bantu bebesenza laa nto siyashekela kuyo, because ngoku iyahlupha laa nto yokuba ngaba sekwenzeke sirojwe sishiwe phakathi singakhange sabizwa sacacisela kwanganto uba ngaba kwenzeka ntoni.
Alright, Sedolophu, masiqale phaa kumphulaphulu lo befowunile kuqala. Siqale kulomba wezindlu ze-military veterans. Sizawugqibela ngawo lomba wamanzi siwudibanise nalo umbuzo, and yabona bana ikhona i-interlink eyenzekayo phaa kuzo.
Enkosi Mr. Machenge, and yet again mandibulisele kubahlali base-Walter Sisulu, ndibulele umsasazi lo ongenileyo abangenileyo phofu. Kulomba iwento we-veterans, Mr. Macheng, I am proud to say that there is a council resolution to say in Dogba, as Walter Sisulu local municipality, we have allocated 8 sites to these qualifying veterans. Then what happens after that? Remember, Umasipala is not the one that builds houses. It's within the jurisdiction of human settlement. Now, but they have got that with them to say in Dogba, and why are they 8, Mr. Macheng? Remember, we don't determine as Umasipala who is a war veteran or who is a military veteran. They have their own sections or their own platforms. Then Tina, as Umasipala, we would just get or retrieve the information from the national department where it would be said in Dogba, oh Vanya, we are qualified, oh Mr. Machem, we are qualified. These 8 people need houses. So what we get from their national platforms, this is what then we need to look in Dogba. Sinayo na indawo apho bazawuhlala khona. If ikhona indawo, allocate the space. Human settlement will then come on board and build izindlu. So it is also human settlement's project to ensure in Dogba bayokhela. And it is safe to say in Dogba, they are forming part of that program from human settlement. As Tina Umasipala, we've already done our deed of identifying indawo zokuhlala. And it will be Kaupuma ngase Alwal North on the N6. You'll see opposite Bird Eyes View. There's a street Kausia ngase Springs. There are 8 sites that have been allocated there for these military veterans.
Lo mcimbi Sedolophu ngumcimbi obona ukuthi sibunze kakhulu apha eWalter Sisulu. Mhlawumbi njengoba utsho into kokubana mhlawumbi banaso istructure sabo sihambe siyolinka ke mhlawumbi ngendlela esilinka ngayo nina ningumasipala nifumana izinto sezisuka mhlawumbi kwi-national department. Mhlawumbi ningumasipala ingabane nalo iqonga apho niye nidibane nabo nithethe nabo nokuba bayaya ku-national. That's part 1 of the question, Sedolophu. Part 2 is that xa i-department le national yazo military vets ithi naba abantu abayi-8 esiba-appruveleyo, ninayo i-platform apho niye engagane khona okanye ngu-ina thatha ndiyathatha ndihamba ndiyothi ina human settlements, this is what we have been given?
I think that is a platform, Mr. Machenge, that we need to strengthen a bit. Okay? We need to strengthen it in a way where these leaders should also find themselves coming to us. You would always find them going to the political aspect or the political platform. It is very rare that you would get them coming here to an administrative platform. But it is a relationship that we need to tighten. It is a relationship that we need to strengthen so that we are actually able to get to where we want to get. That abantu bakuthi bangahlupeki. As I say, your second question is the same, it will go inter alia. It's just a matter of strengthening relations as to say, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and this is what the prerequisites and the requests would be from this level. How then best do we move forward together with yourselves and the municipality and the various departments then that will need to participate. So it's all just about strengthening the relationship.
All right, so Dilop masibuyele kubuzwe nge-issue yokucima kwamanzi xa kucima umbane. Is it related to load shedding? And again, so Dilop lo mbuzo ulandela omnye umbuzo benza ubuza yona okubana kuyabonakala into okubana engathi ikhona ingxaki kwi-issue yokusupply kwamanzi apha eMalitswayi in particular apha eWalter Sisulu. Apho abahlali bekhala khona ngokugqabhuka kwamapipe. Bengike ndakubona nawe ngenye game ugijima into yokubana liqabhukele la pipe malilungiswe lizawulunga nini baxelele na abantu ikhangeleka ngathi iphi ingxaki.
Mr. Majenge, I think we must acknowledge that there is a challenge regards to water supply. But I must also just kesifundise nabahlali in Dogba uJoe Qabi. They are the ones that focuses on water and sanitation. They are in charge of that. But let me start with the first question. Kutheni kungekho manzi? Abahlali balapha must just take it into cognizance. Once there is load shedding, if there is no electricity, our pumps cannot run. Because our pumps use what? Electricity. And by the time they start running, it takes a long time to run. You'd find in Tongba, there's another load shed. So it's all about load shedding. But we have spoken, or we have raised this issue to say in Tongba, noko, can't we then have a backup generator? So when the electricity goes off, we know in Tongba there's a backup generator. We have brought this forward to the district, as I also have the privilege to actually be one of the councillors that are indirect in the district. But also in the regards to this, Mr. Majenga, we requested the executive mayor to be here with us to especially answer questions like these on sanitation and water. Unfortunately, she had another commitment, but I promised the community that we will have another platform like this where they will be able to ask her questions so that they also get an understanding what Joe Qabi is really also all about pertaining water and sanitation. Then coming to the last question about the project that is undertaken by Joe Qabi through Joe Geda. That is an issue that came to my office. We are still looking into it, Mr. Majenge. So I would not be in any position now to give an answer to the caller that called because sibhizi ngayo. Now ndifuna understand into yokuba kutheni nizawuthi ivalile kodwa siyabona into yokuba kusekhona umsebenzi ofanele kuwenziwe njengoba abantu besithi into yokuba bebephangele abanye bahlaliswa phansi ibingunxuba kaxanje, but we are working on it so that we can come to an amicable how can I say response for the workers and also the community. So okwangoku ndizawucela into yokuba make bayeke apha kule platform, we will ensure into yokuba we get them all the answers.
All right, so Dilop, pha ku Facebook kukho umhlali ngumakhetha 2 ifani yakhe uthetha ngubana makongezwe i-street lights block C, block D nase block F. Uthi kumnyama kakhulu pha, ndiyathemba ke ba le is in relation to lamba besike sathetha ngawo ngaphambili was street lights. Kube khona uXolani Sikade kwapha ku Facebook uthi yena charger i-engineers ebezi involved ekugqithiseni indlela that lasted for 6 months. Kuphinde kube khona noMpumi uthi hayi Sidolophu viva.
Mandizibulisele kuMpumi, we're taking note, and then also of Mr. Skade. I think that issue is sub judice. So we would not want to discuss this here because the municipality has taken steps against that contractor to say in Dogba we did not get value for our money. So I would not want to speak to that, and also waiting for a report. As we all know in Dogba, COGTA was also, how can I say, they were also commissioning that project. So we will be waiting. And I believe there's nothing to hide. We will be able to share with the community as to say, how far have we come? And then Ndate Makgeta, we're taking note because we all know in Dogba that needs new infrastructure for us to put in those more. But the ones that are there, we will now make sure in Dogba they have their globes, they will be maintained so that our streets aren't dark anymore.
All right, makasiphinde sikhangele phaya ingathi sinayo i-voice note esinayo masikhumbuze mphulaphula ekhaya uphulaphula usasazo ngolukhethekileyo elithi thetha nosodolophu wakho oluphathelwa ngumasipala wase-Walter Sisulu. Sihleli naye ke usodolophu walomasipala uCouncillor Vania Davids lapha uphendula yonke imibuzo onayo. Into onokuyenza nje wena apha ekhaya kukuthi usifonele okanye usenzele i-voice note inamba othi wenze oko kuyo ngu-065 995 6842 ukuba ndiyibambe kakuhle makandiphinde ndizame ukuyibiza kwakhona. Alright, ndizawuphinde ndibuyele kuyo kwakhona isacimile makasikhangele pha ekhaya.
Msasazi mandibulise kuwe, ndibulise nakusodolophu. Ndiyibulele kuqala le initiative niyithathileyo ningumasipala ukuba sikwazi ukuthetha nomeya kwaye abe kufutshane kuthi. But ke kwizinto mhlawumbi sezikhankanyile umeya, mna I've got few endine-concern yazo njengomhlali. Number one, ngumcimbi we-street lights because ndimvile uchaphazela. But ke ngoku the biggest question is that especially in Bekkerstop, eThembisa, into ye-street lights yinto ekudala iyingxaki and into ekudala iripotwa. I-concern yami into okokuba kudingeka i-budget na into yokuba umasipala makakwazi ukulungisa okanye maintain i-street lights kwakunye nezi light zinde kuthiwa ngo-Apollo na. That's number one. Number two, ndine-concern still kulo mcimbi wamabala esodolophu wase-Walter Sisulu. Siyabona indlela isport esithandwa ngayo ngabantu abatsha, but asiva into yokokuba inkqubela phambili kumabala wase-Walter Sisulu ihamba iphelele phi na. Ibudget ibithiwe thaca kwi-mayoral outreach, but ke ngoku one might ask himself okanye herself into yoba kucingephi into yokokuba zingakwazi into yoba maziqhubeke ezi projects specifically ezamabala. Because ibudget mose xa kusithiwa ikhona, ibudget xa kusithiwa ikhona, that means bekufanele uba at least ziyaqhubeka izinto ezenzekayo. Number three, sodolophu, ndine-concern ngomcimbi waseprison because kuyabonakala uba yintsimbi etshisayo ngoku. Abantu have been promised, abantu bagadile imisebenzi, but awuva ngoku into yokuba i-report ngento yase-Bekkerstop prison ixingephi okanye kwenzeka ntoni kweli xesha sikhoyo. And loo nto ukuhamba kwayo iqhubeleke abantu bazawuthi bavukelwe babe nemisindo yabo, because remember ukuthembisa umuntu ngomsebenzi sine-challenge i-unemployment engaka, and yet still akukho nto iqhubekayo, yenye yezinto. Also sodolophu ngumcimbi we-subcontractors ezikhona ngoku esayithini eBekkerstop prison. The question that I'm having is that ukwazi njani ukuba nabantu on the site abasebenzayo, be it zii-subcontractors okanye zintoni, but awunayo i-community liaison officer esesayithini ne-she-rep and everyone ojongene nento ze-health o-safety rep and everything. Now ukuba zikhona ezo zinto ngoku kutheni le nto the CLOs zingakwazi into yokuba zibuyele ebantwini zizoripota into yokuba ngoku sesime kule ndawo kuba abantu sebejonge ngamehla abomvu lo mcimbi kokuba bazawuqeshwa kuzawuqeshwa kuthweni. Uloyiko lwam ke kukuba kube ngathi kuyarelaxwa kakhulu, abantu bade bavukelwe zizinto zabo. Remember xa uthengisa umntu ngomsebenzi, that means elo iyawuhamba ibe lidabi lesusu and abantu bade bavukelwe kuyo yonke loo nto. I think mna ndine-concern nje kwezo zinto zintathu.
Sidorop nazi zintathu uzibekile ngamabala zi-street lights uyachisa umcimbi we-street lights kube ngumba wase-prison.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, quick pull Mr. Silolo, Usandile Silo, if I can narrate his voice. I think let us start with the issue first of the Burgersdorp prison project. It has come to my attention, as a matter of fact, myself as a mayor, I've not been getting any report as to say what is going on. Understanding that it is not our project, it's a project funded by Public Works. But I strongly believe that I went there, I received those people, so we need to get an update, especially in terms of poverty alleviation, as in Zimbabwe. So we did send an email through to them, Mr. Machenge. I think it was last week already. My office sent an email, and then we got an email back today from Mr. Maqetuka to say in Dogba, in the next week, they will be coming down to myself, to my office, so that they can give me a report. Because what Mr. Silo is narrating there is that there is no PSC was established, and the appointment of the CLO is outstanding. So that is also what we sent through to them, and you can see, luckily you're sitting here in front of me, the email that has been sent through to them. So then we will have all our answers next week, and maybe we will take it upon ourselves to go back to the community and respond adequately, so as to say how far is it and what is really being done, because we've also picked up other small issues that are just showing its face within that project. And I believe as a mayor and as leadership, even if it's not ours, but we cannot let it flourish or fall under in our hands. So that will take place next week. Coming to the streetlight issue, I think, Mr. Machenge, when I started my session, it is nothing to be proud of in Togba, siyoyenza i-project nge-streetlights, into efanekba siyenze operationally. But we also understand the issues that Walter Sisulu was encountering when it comes to Imali. Now we have an opportunity to focus on all towns, so that going from here now, as a mayor, I would not want to see another streetlight project. I want to see maintenance, and more maintenance. And also featuring into the budget, focusing on the budget of maintenance, where we may be up it now, so that we are able to project as in. So this was just basically to ensure in Togba, as we see this need, we want to finish it. And we even said in Togba, how best would it be if we can maybe have two contractors on this, where we know the one is doing the east side and the other one is doing the west side, so that we can speed up this process. Because it's going to be a tedious process for Umdoi 1, as in Zongi town, and we would not want to have shoddy work being done. Then the last question is that Mr. Silla asked us in Dogba, there was a budget, then why is it that we are taking so long to do Izinto? I think the community must also know, or they must also get this information. Normally, when there would be MIC allocations, we all know that all trenches will be thrown into the municipality. But this time around, Walter Sisulu has been put on a cost reimbursement process. What does that mean? Ithetha into yokuba xa kufika umntu ezoyenza umsebenzi, kuzawulinda into yokuba agqibe laa msebenzi kuqala. Kufika abantu ke ngoku bazo-inspecta into yokuba lo mntu wenzile na umsebenzi wakhe before akwazi ukubhatalwa. So zezinye izinto, zezinye indlela ke ngoku Mr. Machenge, that is taking time for us to start with our projects, but they are registered, they are funded, so they will need to start. And maybe also just maybe to give abahlali why sikula cost reimbursement. Sithi mosilinda usumasipala ngoku. Sifuna into yokuba sifuna clean governance. Sifuna yonke into yethu siyenze ibe transparent. Qala besike sasokola ngokuregistering i-projects if niyakhumbula. Ngamanye amaxesha asiyenzi closing date, ngamanye amaxesha aziyenzwa right. So safilisha la post of project manager. So ngoxa kufika project manager, yonke into yethu was done in time and even before the stipulated closing off date. Kwaba khona la question, hey, but benike nahuqa apa nenze njani ngoku. So I think it's more of uba bafuna usicheckisha into yokuba what we did, is it really a true reflection? To me, it's something good because we were able to come from bad, we are coming to good. And normally these cost reimbursement processes, ithatha unyaka because treasurer ufuna ubona nje into yokuba niqhuba njani. But nakuthi it is very important ngoku focusing on quality for our money. Asisafuni into yokuba nje ukuba kudlulisana kunina. We need quality for our money so that i-projects zethu or i-infrastructure zethu or whatever we are doing actually lasts longer. So I think I tried to answer as the questions.
Naba abanye sidolophu babhalile ku WhatsApp uthi lona Molo Msasazi ndicela undibuzele kumeya ukuba ithini into yasebhekela. Okwesibini uawena ngabantwana abafundela eluncedo Teachers Center ugrade 8 luthini uncedo ancedisa ngalo imeko inkosi. Kuphinde kube khona lo wesibini futhi uthi hi, our RDP houses in Hilton has cracked floors, broken down doors, toilets doesn't run, taps broken. We have waited from all councillors with no response for you to build us a new RDP.
Okay, that one is a bit tricky because I understand once waqamla ku RDP the first time, I say out like maklik om 'n RDP te kry nie, but wat ek kan doen, ek kan met die direkteur praat van PED, dan gaan kyk ons na daai huise. As dit die upstairs huise is, ons was al vele kere daar. En ons het gevra dat die mense ook kyk na hulle huise van ons gee vir jou 'n huis en ons verwag at least jy kyk daarna. Maar vir my sal dit wees om te sê ek gaan terug na Human Settlement toe. Ek gaan saam met die direkteur van PED om te kyk wat is die probleem sodat ons weet nodig jy huis van normaalweg as jy 'n RDP huis het, dan kan jy nie weer 'n RDP huis kry nie. Jy kry hom een keer. So dit is maar net hoe die proses werk. Maar ons vra julle mense, die huise wat julle het, wees lief vir dit. As daar ietsie fout is, maak seker jy maak dit reg van is joune nou. Dis oorgehandig aan jou. Dit is nie meer regtig gehoor mense nie. Maar ons gaan kom kyk, wat is die probleem regtig? As dit ons 'n probleem is, dan sal ons sien hoe ons dit regmaak. Maar as dit julle se probleem is om ook 'n plan te maak om julle huise reg te maak, dan dink ons moet ons dit so doen. And the next one.
And then le yasebhekela lo athi cela unibuzele kumeya ithini into yasebhekela. Okwesibini uawena ngabantwana abafundela eluncedo Teachers Center ugrade 8 luthini uncedo ancedisa ngalo.
Into yasebhekela singqenqe bethunana is very sensitive. As a matter of fact, Department of Human Settlement ba busy here no masipala. So now I am waiting for a response, but what I know they have already put up a board where the aim is ukubasusa babantu ba. We need to remove those people there, but we also know how law works. You remove, you place somewhere. Hence I say, and this will elaborate kakhulu kuyo up until I get a formal and a complete report coming from Human Settlement together with the director that is responsible for PED, Mr. Barnes. And then the last question, the issue pertaining the scholars at Luncedo. I think this is a thorny issue. And we have been in talks with the Department of Education. I was speaking to the DM, I don't know, did you see, he was actually calling me also now, to say, how far are you? Because as a mayor, I can only go thus far and then you guys need to take over. giving them a strict instruction to say, Ndogba, we were promised that the kids were going to be removed from Eluncedo. There were going to be temporary shelters set up at War School. How far is that process? But I think I must also say this to abahlali base Walter Sisulu. And ndizocela inkxaso yabo kule nto sizoyenza ngoku. We got a letter from the Department of Education where they're requesting in Togba we allocate land for a new school. Here right in front of me, Mr. Majenge, yes, proof. There's a letter in front of me that is reading as follow. The establishment of a new secondary school. With reference to the above, this serves to request a piece of land for the establishment of a new school within Malitswai Circuit, as the Department of Education is intending to establish a new school in 2023-2024 financial year. And I am proud to say that as the municipality, we have already allocated that piece of land. We were just waiting for the Department of Education to send this letter through to Mr. Barnes so that he is able to process this request. And we will request the community to support us in this because we are running short of schools. Our jurisdiction is getting larger. People or children are actually having their own preference now as to say to which school do they want to go to. So this is what we have, and this is the positive output for the community of Walter Sisulu Local Municipality.
Sodolophu, xa siqukumbela amazwi akugqibela.
My words, Mr. Majenge, there's so much that I would want to say as a mayor, but I think let me first and foremost appreciate the community of Walter Sisulu Local Municipality. When I am able to communicate with them, they understand, because I normally would tell them in Togba, if asizukwazi uyenza into, sizanixelela uba asizukwazi. And we respect them for understanding that. If we are able to do that, we will do it. And they also just need to be patient with us, because as a zinto within government, there are processes that you undertake. As izinto, at times I feel as a mayor, hey, why can't I just have a magic wand? Did you what to do? But unfortunately, we need to follow process. And then two, a clarion call out to our businesses to support the municipality, to the community of Walter Sisulu, to support Walter Sisulu, to our ratepayers that are eligible to pay their rates. Please do pay your accounts. We are here if they are struggling, maybe an account has not been done properly or it has not been marked up properly. We are busy with that now so that they are able to pay their accounts, because if they don't pay, then what happens? It won't be easy for us to do or properly outpour service delivery as we would request. To GPV, let us hold our hands in GPV, requesting the police force, requesting every role player or key role player within GPV and femicide to actually make our areas safer areas, requesting constant visibility of Amapolisa within our areas. We understand, Mr. Majenge, that they are also having their own challenges. And as a matter of fact, when we had our session with the Premier, I actually went to MEC Ngata to request in Togba, you must come a bit down, so that he also sees the challenges that our police are having. In the issue of tools of trade, at times they don't have sufficient vans to go out to these areas. But also at times there is not enough staff within the municipality, within the police stations. You'll get one at night, one in the morning, and then things happen, then they don't know or they don't have the power to do that. But as I say, as Walter Sisulu, the community as a whole, can we please ensure in Togba we support each other? Constructive criticism, we would appreciate that. I believe in talking. I believe in reaching consensus. No. Let us speak to each other. And then lastly, Mr. Majenge, just also sibakhumbuza abahlali base Walter Sisulu. Ikhona le program esibhizi ngayo esiyibiza iWalter Sisulu Local Municipality Public Amendments Outreach, focusing on processes ukuba uyifumana njani indlu, into i-title deed uyifumana njani, uyenza ntoni ngayo, zonke ezo zinto pertaining our housing section within Walter Sisulu that is being run by the municipality through the director, Mr. Barnes, with various departments. You have human settlement, you've got, I was also seeing law, legal aid, and all those areas. So if antiposis, they are in Burgersdorp. So siyabacela abahlali baseBurgersdorp into yokuba mabaye pha eholweni bayomamela, because into that I think is very important, Mr. Majeng, is that abantu mababe knowledge, mabayazi into yokuba xa ndizawuba ne-RDP faneke ndenze njani, xa sendinayo kufaneke ndiyihandlishe njani, xa ndine-title deed yam kwenzeka ntoni, because in past years bebeqhathwa abantu bethu, hayi bebeqhathwa. Bekhona lo muntu emane hamba ngalala uTaylor yakhe eqatha abantu. Ngoku sizisa i-information kwabahlali so that they know into yokuba if ndithengisa i-RDP yam kuza kwenzeka ntoni, if ndifuna i-RDP yam back sendithengisile faneke ndenze njani, you know. So i-information esizisayo eluntwini, and sizabe seyigqiba the whole Walter Sisulu njengoba ndisitsho, ngomso sizabe seBurgersdorp, and ngolesine sizabe silapha eMaltswayi, and then on Friday sizabe sise-James Calath bese sizigqibile ezinye town. So ndabacela abahlali base-Walter Sisulu masiphumeni, masizifundise man, let us empower ourselves with knowledge so that we understand what local government is all about, what our housing department is all about, and what it is that we can gain from that. So from my side, Mr. Majenge, thank you very much to the community for listening. Ndiyabulela kakhulu bahlali base-Walter Sisulu, masimanyaneni siyiphuhle le ndawo yethu. Almal kom ons werk saam as 'n gemeenskap, as leierskap van Walter Sisulu Local Municipality. Ons weet alles gaan nie oornag gebeur nie, maar laat daar iets beweeg. Laat dit ook hoop gee aan mense. En as 'n meier, ek is daar enige tyd as daar ietsie is wat mee gepraat moet word, ons is daar. Die raadslede is daar, in elke wijk is daar raadslid. Daar is ook wardcommittees nou, so julle probleme kan gesolve word as ons net uitreik na mekaar toe. Maar sibambeneni bahlali base-Walter Sisulu, sikwazi into yokuba siyiphuhle le ndawo yethu ibe kwela nqanaba sifuna ukuba ibe kuyo. Enkosi Mr. Majeng.
Masibulele kakhulu kusodolophu umasipala iWalter Sisulu lowo uCouncillor Vania David, sibulele kakhulu kuye ngexesha lakhe, sibulele kakhulu kuwe Mphulaphula Ekhaya ngokuthi uphulaphule usasazo lwethu olukhethekileyo esikuphathele lona silapha iWalter Sisulu Local Municipality. Sibulele nakuwe othe wasibukela kumakhasi ethu onxibelelwano. Sizithatha zonke ke ezintambo sizibuyisela estudio kumagumbo sasazo. Siyabulela kakhulu enkosi.